In this episode, I am physically exhausted. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? My name is Michael Sahno, and welcome to the Sea and Land Fitness Podcast, brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. Boom, right there. Head on over to www.sandlfit.com. That's www.sandlfit.com. And check out all the stuff that we got. And with that out of the way, welcome to the show. Hope things are going well. We're coming into the new year. This is the last episode of 2023. And it's been a weird year. So this year is finishing up. I graduated from the University of Florida. With my master's in applied physiology and kinesiology. I got a couple of certifications. Actually, did I get those in 2023 or did I get them in 2022? I don't know. But I failed my CSCS for 2020 in 2023, just recently. I think it was in November. And I'm prepping to take it again here in the beginning of 2024, either at the end of January, towards the middle of January to the middle of February. I'm getting ready to attend a coaches conference put out by the NSCA. I already have an NSCA certification, which is for TSAC, Tactical Strength and Conditioning Facilitator. So, which is really, really super similar to the CSCS. And for those of you who want to work with tactical populations like the military, police, firefighters, all that, it's definitely something you want to put into your quiver to have as a resource. But again, it is super similar to CSCS. And when I read the book, which is right behind me, it seemed really similar to the textbook for TSAC, which is on the bookshelf behind me. So I thought it was a dream, but don't worry, I'll get it. And this coaches conference has what's it got? It's got an exam prep right at the beginning. So I'm gonna make use of that. Plus, I'll get my CEUs, which are continuing education credits, which are required to do. Hold on, I'm gonna have a sip of coffee real quick. Peter Madeira, that's for you. So CEUs are something really interesting. This is going to be kind of a ramble for a few moments, and then I'm going to get into what's coming up. So CEUs are continuing education credits, and they are used to sort of validate your credentials for your certification, and you're required to get them within a time span. And that way you don't have to take the exam again all over again. And so it behooves you really want to attend some events, go to some courses and stuff like that, and get those credits. I literally just did one, I think it was in December. Yeah, I did it in December. That was a really good one. Plus all the stuff, if you attend it remotely, you get access to all the videos of the presentation. So if you miss a presentation, you can check it out. So 2023 was but 2024 is going to be huge. So why am I tired? Why did I start this podcast by saying in this episode I'm exhausted or tired or whatever I said? Well, the reason I'm tired is because I have, well, let's dial it back a little bit. So I'm going to rewind a couple of months, and I have a ton of things on my agenda, on my to-do list. Um, and this isn't for New Year's. This isn't a resolution list or anything like that. It might as well be, though, um, because there are a lot of things that I have been putting off and procrastinating. And one of the things with so I have this book I'm supposed to write. It's about my directional motivation theory. Um, and one of the core principles of it is whatever can be done now should be done now. Anything that can be done now should be done now. It's on a whiteboard right next to me. So I see all this stuff every day, guilting me about it. But that's one of the things that I need to start writing. I need to start writing this book. I need to start getting this out so I can get this information out to you. The plus side hiccup so for those of you who don't know, when you make a podcast and you're on your own, it's just you talking. And if you drink stuff while you're talking, or if you talk too much without taking a breath, you'll give yourself hiccups. So I get them every once in a while. So I'm sorry about that. But procrastination, I've been procrastinating. I have a book that I'm supposed to be writing. Another thing that I'm supposed to be doing is I'm supposed to be developing these military endurance fitness programs, my tier 3, my tier 2, and my tier 1 program. And I finished the tier 3 one and said, all right, now I'm going to do the tier 2 one, and never got to it. Never, ever got to it. Meant to get to it, discussed getting to it, thought about getting to it, but never wound up getting it done. So something was wrong with the tier 3 that I'd written, and it's already up on the site. So I'm going to have to bring it down and replace it. It was too difficult and too easy all at the same time. So it had 3 exercises, but the exercises were combined exercises. I wanted to go that route where I hit a bunch of I had a bunch of full body exercises, which are good, that worked a lot of muscle groups, but I only had 3 different exercises, and it wasn't well rounded enough. It didn't have enough meat to it. So I looked at the workout that I'm doing right now, which is a monster. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take parts of the workout that I'm doing right now. I'm doing push-up pyramids. Push-up pyramids are a gift from hell. They really are. Push-up pyramids are basically you do a push-up, you stand up, you start a timer, 15 seconds. Once that 15 seconds is up, you drop down, you do 2 push-ups. Stand back up, 15 seconds. Drop and do 3 push-ups. Stand back up, do 15 seconds. And I have the goal of getting to 10. Now, if you add up all of the consecutive push-ups together, it's 55 push-ups. I can only get to 8, which is something like 40 push-ups, or 36 push-ups. But it's no, I think it's 40. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to make myself feel better by saying it's 40. I don't know if it is. I think it's in the 30s, like 36 or something like that. Almost 40. So so I added that in there because I had push-ups broken up into sets, which is good. That's definitely a good way. And you do 5 sets of 10, and that's 50 push-ups. But I thought I'd heard about this, so I thought I would put this little bit of torture in there and make it better. I have bench assisted dips. So I have to take into account that there might be quite a few people buying this program that haven't done dips or might be overweight to some degree, and their body weight and their musculature as it stands now is not going to be something that's going to allow them to just go and crank out some dips. Um, so I added bench assisted dips. In the tier one, or I think it's a tier two, we have bench assisted pull ups because some people can't do pull up. I'm one of those people. I can do assisted pull ups, but I can't do regular pull ups because I'm a big guy. I weigh 267 pounds. That's a lot. And my back muscles aren't developed enough. I'm actually working on that right now because, and that's the reason I'm so tired, because I added an entire back workout and an entire leg workout. So today, what did I do? I did 5 sets of 5 front squats, 5 sets of 5 back squats, 5 sets of 5 military presses overhead with the barbell, and 5 sets of 5 deadlifts. And I had a shit ton of weight on, and it just used up all my gas. And then I had to go do bench press, lat pull downs, with a ridiculous amount of weight on it, and seated rows with, again, a ridiculous amount of weight. But I want to develop those back muscles, so I want to traumatize them a little bit, so that I get some hypertrophy, so that I get some strength. And that's why it's 5 instead of my normal 5 sets of 10, which that's where I like to be. But right now I'm doing 5 sets of 5, and I'm going to work up to it. And the reason I'm telling you that is so that you understand that even though I have experience lifting, what was funny about that, so I do this crazy workout. My workout takes anywhere from an hour and a half to sometimes 2 hours. My workout, and it's timed. I get like no rest. I get like 45 seconds to a minute's rest in between each set, and then a minute 45 to 2 minutes in between each exercise. So I'm just doing a heavy volume. So it takes about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, which I'm okay with. But all of the exercises that I did today, and I've been doing leg exercises. So I was primed for those squats and the deadlift and all that stuff. Oh my gosh. But the military press and the back stuff and the bench press, even though I've been doing push-ups like bananas, I literally felt like I had exercised none of those muscles ever before, or in a extremely long time, because they were all like, what are you doing? This sucks. Stop doing this. And I kept doing it. And eventually it'll grow, those muscles will grow, they'll develop to where I want them to be, and I will be able to hammer out 10. And what's nice is those back exercises will help me with my dips. They'll help me with my pull-ups and all that stuff. And then I am in, so let me tell you a couple things. So what are these workouts? So I tried one of the workouts from my tier 1 program. All right. Now, why do I have the different tier programs? Is it to be cool? Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Sort of. I mean, it's each one of these programs, these workouts are specific, very specific. They have specificity, to use a strength and conditioning term. Very specific reasons for being the way that they are. Excuse me, another sip of coffee. My arms are shaking from the workout still. My shoulders too. So there's specificity in the tier 3, the tier 2, and the tier 1 workout. There's a very specific reason for each of them. And they are challenging to the degree that their purpose is built for. As I just slammed the microphone into my face. So the tier 3 is, that was a big Microsoft noise. I don't know if you guys heard that. I heard it in my headphones. So the tier 3 is designed for individuals who want to join the military. Okay. If you want to join the Coast Guard, you want to join the Navy, you want to join the Air Force, you want to join the Army and be in a support role, or the Space Force, because now that's a thing. But I think you go to Air Force boot camp. I don't know. But you want to do any of those 4 things. Tier 3 is for you. You'll absolutely rock boot camp. You'll go to boot camp being a PT stud. So a lot of times individuals train for things and tend to overtrain because they don't do specific training that will make them more successful. Boot camp, a lot of push-ups, a lot of what do you call it? A lot of repetitive exercises. There's flutter kicks in it. There's sit-ups in it. There's a bunch of stuff in there, and it starts off relatively easy. 3 sets of, I think 5, maybe 10. And then eventually towards the end of the program, you get up to 5 sets. So if you really push it, you will be a PT stud. The other thing that we put in there is a running component, not a backbreaker, but we put a running component in there for, I think we have 3 days a week in tier 3 for exercises, and then 2 days a week for the cardio, the running. And we also have some weight vest stuff, because in boot camp, at least in the Army, they do it. I'm pretty sure they don't do it in the Navy. They might do it in the Air Force now, but you're gonna have a plate carrier. You know what I mean? You're gonna have some body armor. And you're going to have to get used to that, or you're going to have all of your kit. Like back in the day, we had what were called LBEs, and there were these suspenders with a belt and two canteens and all that stuff. But basically what it teaches you, what the cardio endurance days have for you, is it trains you to move under a load, to move with weight on you. So that's the tier 3, and the tier 3 is designed for people who just are going into the service. They're going to be in a support role, or they're going into a branch that is not as physically demanding. Okay, and no knock against those branches, but just that's how it's geared towards. It sets you up to be successful in boot camp, and it trains you for boot camp and the physical demands that boot camp will have. Now, tier 2, our tier 2 program takes it up a notch. It has a little bit more programming, a little more load, a little more intensity. Starts off around the same level, because we're going to make an assumption that you're beginning. And if you're not, that's fine. It'll be a breeze for you. But what tier 2 is designed for is for those who go into the Army, into the combat arms. Okay, what is the combat arms? Infantry, engineers, cavalry scouts. You know what I mean? So these are people who are going to be humping heavy loads over long distances. So you want to build up that strength. You want to build up some of that core strength, so that your spinal column and your spinal column is fully supported by your musculature. That's what core means, actually. I don't know. A lot of people think core is your abs, but it's the muscles that keep your spine erect and in a good, healthy position. Dropping knowledge right there. But tier 2 is for individuals who are going into the Army, into the combat arms, or into the Marine Corps. Because what does the Marine Corps say? Every Marine is a rifleman, and a rifleman is an infantryman. So it's the same concept. And the Marine Corps loves to run. So we have a pretty good running component in this. And the Army will run too, the infantry will run. But our cardio endurance aspect is tailored towards Marine Corps boot camp and towards the infantryman who is going to be moving. And when I say infantry, I'm thinking about light infantry. So when I was in the Army, I was light infantry. So for those of you who don't know, I was in the Navy for 6 years and I was in the Army for 4. I was on submarines and I was in the infantry after 9/11. So I know these different dynamics, these different physiological and metabolic dynamics to the different types of training. So I was light infantry, and light infantry is non-vehicle. Okay. So we would go 15, 20 miles. We would really, fill up our ruck. It got weighed, you know, oh, your ruck's not heavy enough. You know what I mean? And we had to ensure that we had the right amount of equipment, the right weight of equipment, and then we had our weapons and all of our ammo. And it builds up over time. So tier 2 is designed towards that. And if you're thinking about going in and doing that, you could start with tier 3, which might not be a bad thing, and then hop on to tier 2. You know what I mean? Or you can go, it's designed so you can pick up tier 2 and start running right from there. So that's tier 3 and tier 2. Now, what is tier 1? So is tier 1 for Delta Force and SEAL Team 6? No, not at all. Tier 1 is designed for all, not all, but broadly speaking, special operations schools. Okay. So what are special operations units? Special operations selection. Okay. And it is very, very, very specific to the power, strength, and endurance required for an individual who is going into one of these selection programs. So our tier 1 program, anyone can buy it, but it is designed for individuals who are already in the military or who have signed a contract and want to go to buds, for Navy SEALs, or want to go for selection for Green Berets, or want to go to MARSOC or Marine Raiders for the Marines, or want to go to JTAC or pararescue in the Air Force, or even they want to do, the Coast Guard has this rescue diver that if you ever get a chance to watch the video on that, look that up. Their training's intense. But it's designed around power, strength, muscular endurance that would be required to get you through those courses physically. And it is also geared towards, and this is very important, obstacle courses. I left something out. It's also designed for Ranger School or the Ranger battalions themselves, because Rangers, they have their own, I think it's Darby. Is it? They have their own obstacle course, and it is designed for Rangers, Buds, Green Beret selection, Air Force special operations, or Coast Guard swimmers. So that's what tier 1 is designed for. And it is a there's no other way to put it. It's a real ball breaker. And I did one of the one of the training days from that workout, one of the workouts from that training program today, and it roasted me. And I did it at a low level. But geez, man, it's awesome. I feel great, but I am done. About, what is it, 2/3 of the way through, I ran out of gas. And I was like, no, keep going, just keep going. And that's my thing. There's this idea, and I think I put it into the program, in the text. A lot of time went into writing these things, so make sure you read the instructions in the text. But I use the concept of one more push-up. Do you have one more push-up? Because that's something when I was in the Navy. Come on, Sahno, you got one more push-up? You don't have one more push-up for me? And I always did. Always did. It's actually a goofy story. I was going to submarines. I'm not cool. I'm just an idiot who can do exercises. That's important for me to say it in the preface. So I've told this story to other people, and they've been like, wow, that sucks. So back in the day when I was in boot camp, this was before you could get a Navy SEAL contract or anything like that. You had to, so there were a couple of jobs in the Navy. Master at Arms was one of them. You couldn't get a contract. You couldn't be an E1 or an E2 and go do those jobs, or to be a Master at Arms or a SEAL, you had to be in for 4 years and have a Navy good conduct, because if you do your 4 years, you get a Navy good conduct ribbon, and you had to have one of those. This is how it was explained to me. So but there's a way around it. Boot camp. So I was in Great Lakes, and they sit you all, you're tired, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, I can't believe this, I miss my mom. And you're in these classrooms for instruction, and they say, all right, we got a special instructor coming in, be on your best behavior. So of course we are. And this guy comes in, and he's got the Budweiser SEAL team thing on, and he's got ribbons everywhere. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Because you know what the SEAL pin is. You just know. So he goes, all right, this is what being a SEAL is. Blah, 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 blah. Be at the pool tomorrow if you want to try out and be the best of the best. And we were like, holy crap, that's so cool. So afterwards, our company commander, that's what they call them in the Navy, drill instructors. They're called company commanders. He comes in and he says, any of you idiots want to go? You're not going to make it anyways. Put your hands up if you want to go. And I raised my hand. I wanted to go. So we go to the pool. It's at 6 o'clock in the morning. So you got to get up at like 4 something. And you don't walk anywhere in Great Lakes in boot camp. If you're an individual, if you're together, you all march somewhere. But if you're an individual, you gotta run. You gotta jog everywhere. I hope it's still the same way. But and you never wanted to go somewhere on your own, because then you'd have to run. So I ran to the pool. I had been to the pool because we all had to do our safety swim, where they check and they see if we could tread water, and you tie your uniform into a knot and all that, turn it into a flotation device, all this stuff. Can't believe I remember this stuff. So I went, and it was a lot of in and out of the pool, in uniform, treading water, out of the pool, do push-ups, back in the pool, tread water, out of the pool, flutter kicks, in the pool. And you have to they torture you for like an hour, because chow is coming up, and they have to make sure you get to chow. So I went and I did it. And they say, okay, you'll find out if, we need you, or if you passed, back at your company. back at the barracks. So we were all like, okay, cool, whatever. So we all went back, and you have no idea if you did well or if you succeeded or whatever. Some kids got yanked immediately. Like they couldn't, just get out of here. They couldn't swim or something. But I was a good swimmer. I was a lifeguard, and I could do PT. Like I was a skinny little kid, so I could do tons of PT. And I got informed that I needed to go to my records review or whatever, and they bring it. Everyone's sitting in there, everyone who passed, and there were quite a few, probably like 40 kids, out of I have no idea how many. This was a long time ago, and he takes my records. He's like, Sahno, aye, see your ID? Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. Opens it up. He goes, okay, thanks for coming. Here you go. What? He goes, and he opens it back up, and across my record in big red letters, it said submarines. Said submarines all volunteer. Can't take you. I was like, what? I don't understand. He said, we have trouble getting people to go onto submarines. So if they agree to go to submarines, they're going to submarines. Sorry. Come back and see us in 4 years. I was like, son of a bitch. Not happy at all, but whatever. Childhood dream dashed. So couldn't be Charlie Sheen. Come out of a window with an MP5. What you gonna do? So as a consolation prize, now I make programs for people who want to go and do it. So that is a long story to just tell you that I have a passion for this, and I think our programs, the tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1, can get you where you need to go because they're specifically designed for the evolutions that you will be facing during these training programs, be it boot camp, be it the combat arms, or selection. We can't guarantee it, but we can make you a hard charging PT stud. So that's all I've really got for you guys. I'm really super excited to talk about these programs. And I'm making this episode to generate interest, and to let you know that it is a passion project of mine, and I'm really excited about that. And it's an opportunity for me not only to use my military experience, but also my my academic knowledge to create something that can help make you successful. Yeah, so there you go. Head on over to www.sandlfit.com. It's right up there, and they'll be coming within the next month, at the very least, within the next month. It's a lot of Photoshop work, but it's going to be pretty awesome. And then on top of that, in April, a friend of mine because for my undergrad, I went to City College, and a friend of mine, Rachel, she got her master's in cinematography, videography. She went to film school, got a master's in it. And she's going to help me generate the how-to videos for all of these exercises so that you're seeing them done with the proper form and in the proper way at the proper cadence. And it'll be me and another wonderful woman named Renee, who's going to be the examples, will be the models, so to speak, the instructors. So all that's coming. Just keep your eyes out for it. We've also I got new hats. I don't know if you watched Steve Gerwitz, the last one. I interviewed a Green Beret. No, Jeff Gerwich, Steve Gerwich, Jeff Gerwich. I interviewed him last time, and we talked about, strength and conditioning for what are the metabolic needs of strength and metabolic needs of a Green Beret after they've gone through selection. So that's an interesting one to find out, how to stay in shape as a Green Beret. You're already gone through selection. What do you need to do in order to, maintain the fitness standard? So that's a really good one. Check that out. And the whole reason for me bringing that up is I was wearing a red hat, which is one of our new ones. I'm in a navy blue one. That's another one of our new ones. And I'm getting regular multicam. I'm getting more of the arid multicam and more of the black multicam in stock, all with the patch. So head on over and check it out. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.